All right, while my virtual machine is coming up, let's look at the lab that we're going to be doing momentarily. All right, so this is the email entitled RSS case study setup. It was sent this morning, and I'm looking at the old one and the new one here. I went to my sent mail and scrolled up. RSS, yeah, it was sent this morning. I had a little bit more text in it. Classes. Yeah, here we go. Okay, if you go to for me, I gotta look at the bottom of it. You should be seeing this at the top of your inbox. So you open up this email, so here's what you should be seeing. All right, so there's a rich site source we're going to be drawing from. Now, this particular RSS was like, oh, cool, this is nice. It's all the major news headlines in the last hour. Except I used this in the class earlier this year. We found out within the hour it only applies to weekdays. So it's not going to be as exciting today as it is during the week. Okay. So they only update it like once every 4 hours or something like that during the weekday, during the weekends. All right, so that's why you find this part 2 in here. So let's go find another RSS that updates more frequently. Okay, because there are plenty of sites out there with more frequent updates. No, I'd have to look that up myself. But going back to the part 2, all right, sentiment analysis. What is sentiment analysis?
So how good or bad we feel about a certain topic.
Exactly. So that the key thing Juan said is it's about how the individual feels about something. That's going to be expressed in terms of the words that are used. So in the case of this lab here, when we look at the Python script, which I'll bring up so we can see it a little bit more directly here. This is big Python. The Python script, we're opening up some news feeds from CNN, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Georgia Tech News. Okay. So these are various feeds that are coming in just as a sample of major headlines that are out there. And as you notice, this is like top stories. Technically, these are top stories, all of them. And I think these two in the middle are still top stories, like everything. All right, so the sentiment analysis is a scoring method, and it's scoring using a sentiment lexicon. It's called AFIN. It's been around for a while. AFIN stands for, we can look it up if you want. So particular positive or negative words have a score on them. So that's all it's in here is a word and a score. And somewhere between -5 and +5.
So is that is the file so it's like a tuple or a map with a word and a count and a score?
Right. Well, it won't have the count. You just have the word and the score.
Oh, score. I'm sorry. I meant score.
Right.
Count. I'm so used to word count.
Okay, so what the Python script does, and we won't go through all the details here, but what it does is it goes through and finds the words in the article. That's what this is here, in line within the article. And then it looks for the sentiments.
Okay with the rank?
It replaces any punctuation, which is the space, or nothing. Just gets rid of it.
Yeah, just gets rid of it. So it's looking for the words. So we get a total out of here that is the words. And then as we go down, and we'll see how the execution works out here. Then we get the scoring as well. So you break the words out and put out an output that is a score, the title of the article, the link, source, timestamp, etc. All right, so I'm not going to walk through all of the details here because that would take more. We can execute our way through this question and walking through it. So you get a function at the top called get headlines. There's get sentiment score is the other function here at the very top. So we start with the here's the get sentiment score that's I was looking for. So inside this loop for all the entries in the news feeds, we go off and get the sentiment score. So that's the structure of what's happening algorithmically. The overall loop here is an endless loop right here, so it just runs in the background. Or if you don't do the ampersand background symbol, it's going to run in the foreground of your window when you actually execute it. So it's background foreground execution in the Unix environment. And so it just runs constantly. If there's any change, then that gets picked up here and the processing starts. All right, so you don't need to know all the details of what's in the Python, but you can walk through the code. And the output file generated by this, the right window, there we go. The output generated by that Python script is input to a big file. And the big file will then go ahead and will count the occurrences of the top scored words. Okay, so it's a really simple file with ideas. We've got RSS, Python, and Pig working together with each other. Now to modify that, you want to go ahead and take the, if you feel like, okay, this is going too slow today.
What is the Pig scoring at? Do you have to put an input on what you're looking for? Or? Oh, no, never mind.
It takes the output from the Python script. So Python
I have a problem with the top scored word, because the Python script, you have to give it something you're looking for, correct?
Right.
To score things?
Right, so this generates the scoring in the words, and this just basically trims out all of the lesser recurring words that have sentiment.
Well, that's the sentiment. When you run the Python script, you have to give it some sentiment as an input, correct? Or is it built into that Python script? What?
It's in the news articles. I mean,
so you're getting somebody else's.
You're getting words from the news articles, and you're getting the sentiment
That's
scoring system from this AFFIM.
I still don't know what it's scoring at. Is it just scoring at the
scoring
occurrences?
on
How much?
like the words bad or corrupt.
Oh, well, that'd be in Illinois. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Or pleasant versus, so it's scoring on positive words versus negative words, which is occurring more frequently in the articles.
So that's interesting.
So exactly to what, I forget if it was Juan or Sergio mentioned that, it's how somebody feels about something.
Well, that's what I thought. You had to give it an
it's-
input for what you care about. Okay, it's just
Sorry.
generic.
So each word has a fixed score, or each word the score is based on the
Fixed.
Is
fixed?
it
Okay.
kind of like trending? Is that what it means?
But
It's used for it.
Okay, then.
the meaning of the word in the different sentence in different situations is different, right?
Yeah. So
It's
you
dynamic.
can still get a rough feel of it though. Because negative words are not going to be used in positive context and vice versa.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
If you're looking at the adjectives. So this is what's, like Social Sprout is a company downtown in Chicago here. It does sentiment analysis as a business for McDonald's and a lot of other large companies. So they take what's being said in Facebook, Twitter, and other social media contexts, and maybe publications as well. Talking about publications relative to an industry segment that companies working in, and they pull all of that sentiment analysis together to feedback to their customers, saying, here's what people are saying about your company or your product or your promotion. So it's big business. Okay. So So if you think about it in terms of a competitive business-to-business perspective, you're really interested in the more interesting things about what's being said about this one product versus another product. You know, personally, I could care less what's being said about consumer products online and social media. I care more about what reviewers and users are saying about business products. So, the sample, so the sentiment analysis is what we'll be looking at here. If you want to go look up AFIN here. I do have that tucked away so that we can see it if we need to take an actual look at it. But you can grab or Google for it, you're going to get it as well. You go look for, if you Google AFIN-111, you're going to find it. So this is the file. Okay, so this is the file that's getting read in. And all it is, like I said before, is it's a positive and negative denotate scoring on every individual word here. So there's lots of words. So there's several thousand words in here at least. I don't know if it's 5,000. I haven't got a word count on this in a while. Okay, so there's an introduction to the lab we're going to do, and I was doing this in the background while Cloudera was coming up. Let me make sure everybody's on board with the understanding here. So we've got RSS, meaning Python script, generate an output file that the pig script is going to pick up on, and then do some additional processing. So, all right, to make this a little bit more interesting then, if you picture a data environment where we've got a large data center, you very potentially have Flume, being the one that picks up the output file generated by Python and then provides it into HDFS for Pig to look at. But Pig doesn't have any looping constructs in it from a control perspective, as we've mentioned that last week or the week before. So what you need to do is take the Pig script and wrap it in Python, as the example I'm using here. I don't particularly care which shell script you use, but it's a shell script that would run the Pig script periodically. And periodically means that this controller script would need to run infinitely to just check if there's work to do, maybe if there's a file present, go to sleep for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, wake up, check again. So it's the same loop pattern that's already present in the existing Python file that you've got here. So it should be fairly easy to say, well, even if I've never used Python before, I should be able to chop out a whole bunch of lines and keep getting to the loop, which I showed you at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, again, Python screws you up to expect braces. They're not there. Trust me. I knew it was a loop, but it's like, wait a minute, it just ends.
Yeah.
I expect that to fail.
Okay, so this is, if you really want to push yourself into tying together components here, then this RSS lab part 2, which is optional, meaning we're not all going to do it, doesn't want to press into that, go ahead and do it. So we'll also draw back on the configuration exercise that we used before. In this case, you might create your own configuration file. So any questions on the lab from an overview perspective? Now that we've said that, I want to digress back to Pig and look at some Pig scripts. Okay.
So the lab, we are now going to do it.
We're going to do it in like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I just want to go through the Pig labs, Pig scripts from the Pig programming book. And just have us visually take a look at them so that we can see what the differences are in the various joint contexts. So my virtual machine's up let's go ahead and look at the scripts here. I'll get my 3 windows up that I usually do. Go to Google. Get everything joined. All right, so what does a self-join look like? Okay. So I'm just gonna take these in the order that they are right at the top here. We've already covered join, we did the join to keep. And we looked at left join. The only one that was remaining in here was a self-join. Okay, so the left join, by the way, implies there is a right join as well. Yes, obviously in the left join, you're looking at the left join. Looking at the left join, and we know that daily is left of the join clause. Daily is the one where the additional rows that don't match into divs are going to be preserved. So obviously, if I do a right outer, that means that if there's rows on the right of this operator, so the left outer is an operator. If there are rows in divs that are not in daily, then divs, those extra rows and divs are going to be preserved in the output. Okay. There is also a full join. Full join means it'll do left and right. Okay. So it's a just simple concept. Once you've seen left join, which we looked at, right join is just the same concept, but opposite side. Full join says do both the left and the right. Meaning pick up any rows that don't match. So the whole purpose of using left and right is usually let's see. Oh, I had my volume off. Sorry about that. The whole point of using outer joins is to find data integrity problems or issues. Okay. You don't want extra data, and obviously pig is being used for times data. So actually left join and outer join works really well for the purpose of finding data integrity issues. Meaning that you have records that don't match crossed files consistently.
I have a question for you. I know the AFINS thing, could you replace that with your own set of words and scoring?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And obviously, like whatever that company downtown, they're paying attention to one of the first things is their company name. That then they're adding words positive and negative because it doesn't care. Just positive words doesn't do anything for that, or negative the word.
Right, you gotta have the company name. Or
I think kidnap would be a negative word. I just saw that in there. Well, that's not going to be anything they care about. They're going to scratch that out of, unless there was a kidnap in a McDonald's.
Yeah,
which could happen.
That's true. Okay, so from a self-join perspective here, let's go through the what they're actually joining. So obviously, got to go down into the middle here. But here's the concept of the self-join. You're taking the loaded file, in this case it's a dividends file, and you're loading it in twice. You're loading it twice. Once into a relation here, and the alias is div2, and then a second time into a relation here, which is that's like div2 also. Selecting div1. So to get div1 and div2. So you essentially get a copy of this. All right, so if you join div1 by symbol and div2 by symbol, all remember this is, the join clause is essentially pasting two files together. So what's the output going to be? How many rows and what are the columns in the output?
Same number of rows.
Right, same number of rows, right? You
Double columns.
and double columns. So if I go over to the Pig Lab and I just look at the first one, which is New York Stock Exchange, just so we can look at this tangibly. So I've got 4 columns right here. So your output's going to have how many columns?
7. Because it's one.
But you're doing symbol.
One that is combined for both files, no?
Right, so that's where SQL and Pig diverge from each other though. It'll give you all 4. So the one that's in common will still be present. So in Pig, if you wanted to actually make it behave like a SQL join, you'd actually have to do the join, and then after that, do a for each generate, and then in your generate clause, you'd have to identify only the columns you want to keep. And then in that way, you can strip out the redundant column. From a straight SQL perspective, you'd see it as a redundant column.
That's what you mentioned before or earlier, that this join acts the similar to paste in Unix.
Right. Yeah, it literally is that paste function. It's just trying to combine 2 files together.
So when you to self-join, or which is self-join is just join, correct? If you don't, it's just join.
And as I said that, this is joining by symbol.
Right.
So when Juan had said you're going to get the same number of rows, I was thinking it was by symbol and date. I think you're actually going to wind up with 4 times 675 cents. You should wind up with 670 times 4. If I change this to say by symbol date, then I would get 670. So this would be an interesting one to do. All right, so there's a filter right after that. So this is what the join is doing. And the filter is saying filter by, this is a way of referencing that we've not seen yet in Pig, where you can actually say, here's my output from line 18, right? But remember, the schema is always retained in terms of what relations went into building that current relation. So inside JND from line 18, I can still reference divs 1 versus divs 2. The schema is retained. And so I can specifically pick out the date from divs 1 relative to the dates from div 2. So this might be a little bit interesting around this, so we can see it, and this would be more of like, let's run it inside Pig, line by line, so we can see exactly what happens here. And then what's here, it would still include the store lines, so you can do the word counts rapidly. Otherwise, it's a little bit hard to get a sense of what's going on here. So filter, what does that operation do?
Cleans up stuff, essentially. It only pulled out the ones that match your expression.
Right, so be a little bit more specific. Is it pulling out rows or columns?
It's pulling out rows in this case.
Right, so filter is always oriented around rows. Okay. So it's getting rid of extra rows for us. So let's do it this way. those that want to run this, go run this in the background, look at the results after lunch. I don't want to take the time to run it right now, so I want to get.
Which file are we into?
This is the self-joint. So this one you can run on your own, see what the output is. Come back, let me know. I'll run it over lunch as well. But I'm watching the clock a bit, so I want to get going with this other lab. All right. The all right, so going back to the lab then. So if there's a self join, go ahead and look at that on your own. Here, you're going to download some files and put them in place. You bring these into your environment within the virtual machine. You can copy and paste, obviously, for all of these and get them in there very quickly in that sense. So whether you download here or download inside, either way is fine. I'm going to download inside. And I know I have to close Firefox pretty rapidly afterwards.
Actually, for the minor thing, I did this way. I use a shell script calling the Python and calling the pig. But I think the more efficient way is just one pig file with the UTF and the string. The one file for everything now.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you need one file, but when you stream, you've got a separate file for the code for Python. Or actually, you don't need to have it.
It's
If
one.
you have only one simple Python file, meaning one line, then
Yeah,
you
the
put
one
it in
line,
single quotes
Yeah,
and execute it that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I saw somebody use just a one pig file and it has everything in it and just run this file and then you got final result.
Okay.
Where are you putting these in a separate directory?
Yeah, make up like a RSS lab directory, something like that, so you keep these separate from the others. Okay. So, so close Firefox here. So after you do the download, look inside your downloads and you do ls-ltr. You're going to see these three files. These are what got downloaded. So I'm going to make a directory, RSS lab. And I'm going to just move these files over to RSS lab.
permissions to get the Python executable?
Yeah, you'll have to run the change mod plus X. There's an attachment, or in the email, you gotta go look, I just did an overview. There's actual steps, very specific steps to make sure this environment actually works. So I forgot to mention that, but this is just getting the files in. Once you get the files in such that you're
So you want us to
comfortable
go step by step?
with it, yeah, it needs to be step by step. For the lab's not gonna work. And the instructions are up above, they're right here. So the forwarded information, the forwarded email starts off with this at the top. And there's a library, a Python library called feedparse that's used for reading from RSS sources. So it's some details about RSS, an RSS document, we call it a feed or a web feed or channel. And it includes full or summarized text, whatever the service, the web service is structured to provide. And it includes some metadata being like publishing date and author's name. All right, so the note on feed parser is that it's a Python library. It parses feeds of all known formats. So these are the various formats that can be present. RSS has its format as well as Atom and RDF. Okay. All right, so the information that's in, so you'll need to install this feed parser module. Okay, so just file that in your mind.
Where is that fit parts coming from?
It's the general library for Python. I forget where it is right now.
Okay, no, that's fine. Because I just ran it and I'm getting an import error. No module name fit parser.
Right. So we have to put that in to our environment, which is what the steps include. Okay, so before we install the feed parser module and start the code, let's take a look at some of the available RSS elements. All right, so most commonly used elements in RSS feeds are, from the schema perspective, title, link, description, publication date, entry date. There's also image, categories, enclosures, and card. So just think about what's the information that could be sent across the RSS feed. In order to get the feed parser module in place, first you need to confirm whether it's present. So that's done by running this command here. Yes, if this command succeeds, then skip to step 2. Succeeds means there's no information message before the shelf prompt is displayed.
Yeah, that's the command that I'm getting.
Right. So in that case, you need to go to this location within Firefox and click on this zip and download it. This is getting your Python environment set up so that you can do a little bit beyond what is currently installed inside the virtual machine. In Python installs normally, I think, in our standard environments. You're doing this for minutes. It's not likely that feed parsers can be there automatically. So the steps are very explicit in here. I've got to go through and do each of these myself. So let me make sure I've got my RSS lab set up.
So you did that already on?
I haven't done it on this machine. I did it on my machine at home, and I've done it earlier this year on different machines.
With the same image, the CDH image, right?
One I did it on earlier this year. It's a slightly different image, so I'm not expecting there to be a problem with it.
So we're gonna run this command.
Right, so you start with this command, just make sure that you get an error message. If you don't get an error message, it's already there. I'm just copying that, I said Control C, and then right clicking, pasting this in over here.
No module entry parser.
Right, so that means it's not there, so that means don't skip to the next step. Put that subdivision as.
We need to go to that link.
Now you have to go start back Firefox, right?
Okay, so
Okay, what are we doing? Are we downloading? Click on Firefox.
So exactly as Kat had said them, you get that error message, then you gotta go to this link in Firefox. And this information is all in your personal directory and also the MNTS Von Schaumer directory. Or sorry, when I say directory, I mean inbox messages. So they go over to that directory, so I can do the download. Alright, so we go to the top right here. Do speed parser 5.2.1.zip MD5. That's the third item here. So download that, save it. Goes into your downloads folder.
the first one, right?
Yeah,
The third one,
Third one.
Yeah.
The zip?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So shouldn't that,
There's a different archive file and targeting.
Different format, it just.
Right, so just different archive format. All three of these are just different archive formats.
Right.
It's a small file, so just grabbing the zip directly, don't get the extra pressure.
where are we putting it? Well, we're downloading it. Then what do we do?
So that goes into the downloads file.
Got that.
Okay, now make a
In
MyPython
your Linux
directory.
environment, MyPython.
Right, because you don't have permissions to go change the install Python package area, but you can still include this new module as I'm walking you through right here. This is where Cloudera put some limitations in terms of physical permissions. So if I do, oh, sorry. That's supposed to be in K in here. Make my Python. So it's make dir. And that reminds me, when I put in the email, it's slightly out of date. Let me pull up the this other attachment. I'll send it to you now because it has, there's 2 typos that are in there. No longer present. So I can download this one, send it off to everybody.
Now we just unzip that? Or you're changing the instructions?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not ahead of you.
You're slightly ahead, but everybody's got a Windows machine here. Maybe this is a text file. Let's see, so
Okay. We're gonna have to put that in our task map to find it?
Yeah.
That's the part I'm not sure
spell
what to do. confused. Let me get that.
I just use the word doc.
In the instructions, once you have downloaded the file and unzip it, there is a make dear live,
Yeah,
right? That goes under my Python in this one, right, Python? And then you have a link. That link, in order for you to run that link, you have to be under live or you gotta be under Python, my Python.
Right, so I'm gonna, let me send out this attachment in the PDF right here. Because what you're talking about, it sounds like the second of the errors that might be in there. There's something with path and links here. I think it was the link that was wrong. Okay, so on that same email thread, I'm gonna send you the downloaded instructions here.
I got it. I got this one.
Yeah, those are the old ones.
They are not useful anymore?
There's 2 or 3 small typos. If you know Unix, you're not gonna have any problem getting past the little typos because they're very minor ones. If you don't know Unix, you're gonna try.
did you send that out? Because I'm not.
I'm gonna send it right now.
Okay, because I saw the one at 8 o'clock this morning.
Right, I think I'll send it out on top of that 8 o'clock one.
Oh, it'll just, okay, well,
See the attached instructions.
I'm just going to get it right down. Oh, it's PDF, cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's simple. All right, so you'll notice the difference from what is in the email is right at the beginning here. The first command was make dir my Python. The K was missing. It's a small typo. So anybody that would have recognized that would have known that the K is missing. But if you don't know Unix, then you wouldn't know that the K was missing. All right, so so I got the updated instructions out to you. That they had already been updated. I just forgot to attach them to the file. So you take this command, Control C, and paste it over here with a middle mouse click. Okay, and then that downloaded file, that zip file. Take this command, paste it over here. You got to Control C, and then hit over your virtual machine. Just do a little mouse click. Okay, so this goes through really quickly. I get mechanical memory engaged here. Okay, and then do the unzip deparser. So the unzip will give you a bunch of output, like was indicated, like what you just saw. Then you want to make a directory lib. And this is just to do a mirror image of what the actual Python installation is. We're just setting up my Python in an area where you've got permissions to extend the packages that we want, that are of interest. Right, so this link command, do Control C on this. This is going to create a soft link.
Way ahead of me and I'm lost.
Just copy and paste, shouldn't be typing.
Yeah, I can't get the file here, hold on.
Yeah, so the important thing, there's a lot of stuff in here, so don't type anything, just copy and paste.
It's not working for me.
When it asks about overriding your .bash RC, just say yes. Because this command here simply adds my Python, the directory we created at the beginning, it adds it into the Python path. So Python path is set to look at the home for Python path plus the extension we added for the home. So that's the trick to make this work when you don't have permissions to, when you don't have root permissions to actually adjust the Python install itself. And then this last command is critical. You skip this one, it's not going to work. Sourcing the bash RC means that this shell in which I sourced it is the only one that knows where the feed parser is. I would need to run that command in each of my other shells in order for the other shell to know that the feed parser exists. Okay. So I stepped through this one at a time. Could have just copied everything here, Control C, and then gone over here and did paste. Okay. I could wrap all of this into a shell if I want, into a script if I wanted to. Okay, so we've got, so this sets up the Python library that's needed in a way that gets around the permissions issues that we have. And we'll be breaking for lunch after we do the setup here. So if you need some help with that, let me know, but I'll cover it after I go through this a little bit more. All right, so now the step 2 here is obtain the sentiments lexicon. You want to look for it, it's going to be in this directory, and it's not likely that anybody has this. So it should say no such file or directory, which means go back into Firefox and go to this other URL here. And this is where the lexicon comes from. So at the bottom of that page is where the zip file is. So as it says over here, scroll to the bottom of the page, click on zip, across from the label electronic versions. So here's the label electronics versions, here's zip. So then download it, save it, okay, good. Okay. Now that's downloaded. We'll go over here. All right, this is saying make a directory called case study RSR. Sorry, case study RSS. So I'm going to copy a few of these commands all at once. So all of these can go through at the same time. Just Control C, paste. Everything's there. All right, so the programs, the attached programs that need to be placed into this case study RSS directory. I think I had you put them in a different place. You actually did step 3 first. So just copy those files over to this case study RSS and everything will be happy. So that's copy P, dash P is just preserve, and whatever you call your directory, take everything in there, and copy to the current directory. So that what you should have now is rm store out, this headline pig, this headline Python, the zip here. When it was unzipped, generated this ifnn directory. text in there and some readmes, etc. The file, I believe, that we're looking at is from the Python script perspective, setting up the 11 graph for this out of the Python scripts. Yeah, so it says, you know, in the Python script, in the current directory, we're going to go into the directory AFIN and then open AFIN-111, which is what we looked at earlier, about 10, 15 minutes back. So with that said, this is walking through it. Let's break for lunch here. Okay, we're at 12:13. We're set up to do the lab when we get back. This is fairly straightforward in terms of setup, but if there's a step that was skipped, then that'll break down the stack of cards, you know, the house of cards.
When you're adding the
It's a
file
so,
that says overwrite, you say yes?
yeah, that's the .bash file.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So let me just catch whether there's any questions here. So from anybody online or in the room here?
After 2A, you should be able to run the Python, whatever the test, the feed parser to see that the command feed parse it should run, correct?
So we can actually run that, because it's like, oh, gee, you know,
Just
so
a
close,
test.
maybe I should run it. Huh? So if you run it, it'll generate that output file.
Where is the, where's the, okay, Python feed parser.
Whenever you unzip the MM6010 file, it creates a directory called
didn't work.
AFIN.
Yes.
So shall we leave those files there or move them back to the RS, to the study RSS?
You can leave them there, because in the Python script is this line right here
Uh-huh.
that assumes that directory is present with the file inside of it.
I ran your script and the feed parser and it didn't work. Am I in the wrong directory?
All right, so in order to run these, sometimes you need to do a / and then RSS news headlines.python. Oh wait, I gotta do a change mod. Is that missing in here? Did I skip? Yeah, the change mod command isn't in there, so. Let's we mentioned that verbally. All right, so ls-ltr, what do I got in here? I don't have
Where are you at?
executable right now.
What directory are you in?
I'm in case study RSS. So this is what should be in your directory.
Wait a minute, but I'm in the, something isn't working. All right. Oh, so that isn't where you put the Python script.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
never
had
mind.
accidentally done
I'm
step
so
1
screwed up,
first
it's
instead of
unfair.
step 3. Whatever. I heard you walking through stuff. You're not screwed up.
No, I'm messed up. I can't get that feed, that parse thing, the Python import feed isn't working. Even though I ran the script or your instructions.
Yeah.
So something's not right.
All right, so we'll take care of the detail on that. That's a minor thing. That's normal. That's not major.
Nothing's gonna work if I can get that to work. Can't pipe. Okay, where am I?
I might have to play with this a little bit more. This is partly why we're doing this right before lunch. There's a problem. Then I got a little bit of a window here to fix something.
So who was able to import feed parser?
And run it?
No, just import it.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
So the
The import, yeah, that doesn't work. After source,
right, so this shows that, you know, my environment knows that the feed parser is present. So you should be able to test whether feed parser is successful by running this command and seeing no output. This is step 1A.
Yeah, mine is still giving me an error. Even though I went through all the steps, it's still telling me the imported or no module name named feed parser.
Okay, so in order to do this in reverse here, if you look at your environment, it has a lot of different items in here. One of them is going to be the Python path. So
Oh, I know why.
that's your Python path.
No, it's because I haven't rerun the. We have to reopen a terminal in order for the bash RC to execute, right? Because otherwise it won't work.
You've got to, within your terminal,
Or
run
just,
the source
just
command
run.
here, then you'll be good.
If I'm in the feed parser directory, I can run it.
So let me walk through each of these.
Yeah, go back there, because I can run it from here, but I don't think I can run it from anywhere else, so I have to see an environment.
So let's,
Link is
step 1.
Right, that. But look where I'm located.
Okay, so go into,
But here's-
go into the case phone and run it. Yeah, right now in my mind, I think I know exactly what's wrong there, so.
So I can do what?
CD to,
No, I'm in there right now. I'm in the
Were you
case
able
one.
to make it run, Tony?
no, you're in RSS lab.
That's where I want to be, right?
No, in the directions I handed out, and this is my confusion points here that I did accidentally. Set this all up so that, so that you take the 3 files that were attached, put them into this folder.
Oh, I just created them rather than case study. I just created that directory. They're there.
Okay, well, as long
They're
as,
just- it's just
as
a
long
different-
as you have the exact same content as this, that's fine.
I don't have the AFIN because I never got that far.
So which file is
And I
supposed
don't
to
have
run
that
first? Which files? We run just Python? Run this file first?
Yeah, you should be able to run the Python.
Well, before I do that, I just wanted to see
I've got my other computer here with me that has it all working.
Oh, okay.
Just in case there's details that
No, I still cannot find
don't
the
come to
feed
mind.
parser.
Yeah,
Right,
probably the
The feed parser still cannot be found.
All right, so
probably the import is looking for those files.
Yeah.
Inside of the what is that?
So the Python lab,
you
the
can
path,
change the.
the Python path.
Where's the
Yes.
Python? Oh,
Oh, you know what?
inside library.
Here.
Because and the way the instructions
This is wrong.
are that the parser, the feed parser, is not placed in the live directory.
Oh, was it?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, there. I can run it if I'm in
If you run the
where I put the
UA.
feed parser.
Actually,
But
the
if I'm
path
anywhere
we
else, can't
add
run it.
is directly the root path by Python. So it's not the root path by Python. It should be my
You know, you
home
can
directory
change.
is on the Python.
Yeah, actually, you can change my Python to whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as you have the those feed parser files in the live directory, you will be okay.
All right,
I
where's it
just
at?
modify manually.
Let me just go ahead and give it a try.
I wanted that soft link.
Oh,
Get
wow.
away.
See, I'm in the directory with feed parser, my Python feed parser 5.1.2.1/feed parser, and it works fine, but that's where it's at.
Yeah, it should work fine from there.
Yeah,
It
You
works
got-
fine, but it
you
doesn't
gotta
work
go
from
to
that other
the
directory.
directory where you have feed parser py and feed parser, those 2 files. Or wherever you have feed parser py, that's what you have to be in order for this import to run correctly. So it's run. We can move those to live. I can move them to live.
To Python library?
Yeah.
That's strange. Where is the Python library? Come on.
All right, so tell me what you, let's see, I want to be able to, my environment works good, but you suggested a change for people in the environment wasn't
Yeah, no.
working. So what was the change?
Okay, are you in with the, what you have the person, in the directory of the person?
I'm right
Could you
here.
do another? Okay. In this case, we have to, oh, this is the one, the fin. A fin is, yeah, this one. So go to a fin, CD to AF, right? To that directory.
Okay,
CD there.
so let me do the changes in here so I can keep that, keep these separate here. All right, so,
CD.
let's see, what's next?
Yes. So CD to D. Yeah. Okay, do it like this. Now, oh, no, that's not the one. I'm sorry.
I think you were talking about the Python.
Yes, yeah, I know. We need to go to the, I'm sorry. Okay, do another. Okay, yes. Now we have to change to CD feed parser.
Right.
Mhm. Now, again, we'll go ahead, do that. So I can show you. Now we have to do CD to feed parser. And in there we can do the import because this is the file that we are trying to import.
Right, so within the Python file over here,
The soft link does not work.
what's that?
Soft link does not work.
No, the soft link works, but it's pointing to the live LIB directory folder.
Which is where?
Your
It's
Python
under
library?
your Python
So
library.
the software
Which is
needs to be
where?
changed.
I can't find that.
Well, don't worry about that, it's pointing the wrong thing right now.
Okay,
All
well, I agree with that because I can't run it.
right, so, let's see, so all right, so this actually needs to be changed, not to be live, but it needs to go a little deeper.
Exactly, to all those directories.
All right, so what's my current directory here?
So
it should
when I
be-
place live by these two.
Right, it should be all of this.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay,
Right.
that should make the import work.
Yours is working on it? No?
So
And just the spaces for remote.
I could have
Ooh, hold on, guys.
Ya, pero no trabaja, ese link no está trabajando.
Local export Python.
¿Cómo remover eso? ¿Serio? Ok. Entonces, para hacerlo trabajar, tenemos que irnos a parse, CD, start, and luego CD, feed.
Yeah, that's what I got. Which doesn't make sense to me.
Aquí es donde produce correcto, aquí es donde vive. Y ahí, si yo se le importa ahí va a trabajar.
I even just tried to echo environment and it wouldn't come back with anything.
You're saying it won't come back with anything at
Oh,
all?
wait, echo Python pad.
It should come back with something.
Now it comes back with nothing unless I'm sitting in, that makes no sense to me.
So this source command here is the key. If I'm in a shell where that resource file has not been sourced, then I will get this, meaning nothing. If I'm in,
Oh, so I gotta go,
if I'm in a shell where I've sourced that RC file, and that RC file is this, at the bottom of the RC file is this line. So this is the line that we're be
I
changing.
can't, is there spaces in there? I can't read that.
The only space is the one right here.
No, up in the other window.
It is space.
I cannot tell if there's a space in here.
It has to be. The source is a command,
Right.
and then space and follow is a
Oh,
file.
right here, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's a space in there.
Not working for me. Something isn't right.
Source always works.
Oh, I can't see the dot from here. It's too small.
Okay, a little bigger. Okay, so I got interrupted a little bit from what Sergio was mentioning. So the path needs to be this guy, as opposed to the lip. So let me try this out, and then I'll rerun the Python script.
Something isn't right.
So let me run the command here.
The Python path is we added ourselves, right?
Right, there was none in here. I left it in here just in case there was something, because I didn't want to blow it up. But I went over here in another shell and checked, and I see that there's
Yeah.
nothing over there.
Right.
So it's perfectly fine to overwrite what's there completely in our environment. On my Mac, I can't do that. Bad. So if I take that guy, put it in here, block this. That exports Python path.
The Fairfax kilometer, you know.
And I'm going to change my, let's see, let me.
Fairfax. Pretty right. I try to kill the Fairfax. Okay, kill it.
Is yours working now?
No, hell no. I'm just trying to find out what he's doing, because I'm a little nervous that
when you change that Python path, it's not gonna find Python. It'll find feed parser just fine, but it won't find Python. I tried my dash RC and it's not coming out the same.
Yeah, and
So I'm stopping everything.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna push.
There was,
What?
Yeah, see, he's saying what?
so you bring up a new terminal shell,
Yeah,
and you echo Python path. Oh, it's already sourcing.
I've got nothing.
It's always gonna be there.
see, I bring up a new one and do Python, that, I get nothing.
That also, this one does not work because you have some column. You have columns before the home dispatch.
Yeah, this is what you're saying.
Yeah, that also does not
Yeah,
work.
this is reading the bash RC file.
Mine doesn't read that. I don't have that set up. I don't understand why.
Cat, do a tail -1 on your .bash RC file. To get this.
Nothing. I don't have a bash RC file apparently. Oh.
It's .bash RC.
No, it wasn't it. I had a typo. Mine comes back with FI.
Okay.
So let's go 10. So yours comes back with FI, which is the end part. So that means that there is a step in the instructions that was skipped.
Well, we've run that multiple times.
So so your shell will come back with what's needed there. Within this new shell that comes up here, I'm going to take out the export. Just like you go back to the
Okay,
the initial point.
finally I killed that.
Here's
Did all
performance
that.
issues.
It's an input, especially not for conversation.
Right, so come up clean here. Now my bash file is set up so that whatever is in Python path, just nothing, it's fine because the bash RC, this is all the default bash RC is up through here. So line 13 is all that we added. I counted it out just so I could make sure that there is no corruption of anything, or Python getting in the way of, or not finding what it's dependent on.
Right.
Right, so this is a clean area here. I go in and just type Python, then I'm here. I can do whatever I want. Let's exit to quit out of here. All right, so I know that Python works in the basics, right? So we're just wanting to add in the speed library, speed parser. So if I go up here, we confirm that this one doesn't work.
No, it should work. Let me see. No. Here's some.
So the directory is down here. That
What the result
information
we
that's
expect?
highlighted,
I'm running the Python.
can go into
Okay.
here.
But why so slow?
I have no idea. Maybe your machine
No,
cannot crunch anything.
how long it take for you to run this Python?
For me,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, seconds.
Seconds? Why this Python does not work here?
Okay, so that source is fine. So we only made one change so far. I'm gonna go back and check the work. And then I'll send out that change if, which is following what Sergio said.
Oh my goodness, that is,
Let's see, instructions. So if I go back into my location here, looks fine. Alright, so with that working fine, then I should be able to do this. Oh, it's obviously. Just Python and then the
Python.
script, right?
do we need to change the permission of the file?
Yeah, I already did change mod plus X on it.
Oh, I didn't change that one, no wonder.
Well, I can't get that, the beginning part to work.
Okay. So it just
I don't know
sits
what you
there
did.
right now running.
Waiting, because there's nothing.
And if I go, and I'll let mine keep running and then I'll, in a different window, show you what I did here. So I'm gonna go to,
So right now, your Python path only have one line, directly path?
right, and see it up, and it generated an output CSV file. So the Python program is running, the script is running, generated an output, it's got information in it. So this part's like cooking along just fine.
So you can feed that.
How long you
in,
take
but
for it?
I can't.
This
well,
is
whatever.
instant, because it's just on
Right.
RSS feed.
But that, it's CSV, you'll use Pig to go through, or Pig,
Right.
and then.
Right.
But I can't get my Python to run.
So-
Something's wrong.
So I will, here's the command that I did in order to correct things, and it's just as Sergio had pointed out here. You need to, let's see, and I want to do this in the correct shell, so I don't mess up what I'm looking at.
You need to send instructions out to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it out right now.
It's not gonna work. Where we at?
So,
Everything's plugged.
So just put this one.
make sure these last two lines are this.
The comment all about that.
Right. So, and obviously if that, the commented outline is not in your file, then don't worry about it. All right, so let me send this out now.
Joe,
Yeah,
it's finished.
I'm gonna,
still
I'm gonna.
running there, I don't know.
You broke it, man.
Something broken?
Yeah, because mine run within seconds. No, I'm just kidding. It's running. Mine is also running.
I kill you.
Wait a minute.
Well, just find his address. You know where to buy your next house.
Just feed out a whole new instruction, because it's not.
So this instruction will fix it.
I know, but I won't know I'll have that, whatever.
It's already the extra things in there. So it's only the last value that's read. It's making sure I grab it exactly the right words here. That's all I want to do is replace the.
So we break?
No,
How big your family is right now? It's
No. But version that we have 2.6, that's the version that we have.
The 2.6 is a troublemaker
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
because
I'm sorry.
it has a restricted
You say,
functionality.
what do we need to look for that file? The fact that you see?
In your case study,
Case study.
where you run your Python.
CDRSS. Right there.
Okay, all right.
See.
You have a CSV file, right?
What?
You have a CSV
And that's
file?
in step
CSV file?
which?
Yeah,
in
just
the
under
other
the
files.
RSS
You
directly.
see the issue?
It's,
You know, I don't know which
Yes,
one is
yes.
where.
you
So
know,
yours is
if you add everything over here. it'll be fine.
2700? 27,000, right?
Yes.
Let me see how big mine is. Yours is too slow. I think it's doing something. My size is not increased anymore. But still
What does the last line
but
say?
still not finished yet.
Well, how do you know whether it's not finished or not?
Because it didn't return.
Let me see the
It's
last
never
line.
gonna return. It's
Let's
a
go check
continuous
the last
loop.
It never returns.
It's a continuous loop.
You know,
You're gonna have to kill it.
You have to look at the output file to see.
Oh my God.
Let
So
me
I
check.
already run several times.
Right.
So that is this is the size. This is-
No, control Charlie from there.
Come on.
Control Charlie, and now do tail minus F, and then the name, output that tail minus F, minus F. Minus F, now that file. That will tell you, you know, that's a continuously, this redisplaying. Whenever there is an update, it will display.
No, it's not. I didn't look at the
Well, it's
code
very
and don't know what
standard
they're
with
doing.
this other thing.
So the code is like, it's a for loop,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
for-
because it says while true.
so it's an infinite loop.
Uh-huh.
right.
Oh, okay. I didn't look at the code, I said, oh, why is it?
Showed us
When
the
I
code.
run,
That much I
it's
knew.
right away it goes to that size. The CSV file, it goes to that file.
It's-
It's
And then-
it's
and
going, Remember
And
this
this girl told me I said, oh,
continuously fetching data, man. What's wrong with you?
Click on.
You were supposed to be the Python expert here.
I just learned Python 3 days ago.
Where is this?
Because so many people mention Python. And then when I read the book, there's a Python. Okay, let me take a look at the Python.
Easy to learn or difficult?
Okay.
The syntax is okay.
It's easy to get you fit well,
Okay.
but if you want to solve the whole body, not easy.
Okay, I think it's time to go for lunch.
I can't even get. that other
12:48,
stuff.
12:48, 12:50. So we will be here like what? 12:30? 12:40?
1:30.
1:40? Wanna go, Tony? Yeah, let's go. Let's get going.
So it's coming by 1:40?
Yeah, what did we want to do?
Yeah.
Half hour or 45?
45.
45?
Yeah.
So that makes it,
Yeah, 1:40.
1:30.
1:35.
Okay, thank you.
So if anybody has issues on the environment, then we'll get those worked out here. There's a soft link that was
Click on zip.
that was getting in the way.
Click on zip.
So LS-LTI.
I am hungry. I am hungry, I am sleeping, tired.
That's a deadly combination.
Yeah.
So, the pit is written in Java, right?
So,
Yes.
Where do I put that in?
So I sent off the correction, so people can have that with the instructions.
I manually change that file.
Yeah, that's perfect. So let me see who's online here yet. So Belize and, Ganesh is online and Jay as well. So do you need help, Ganesh or Jay, on getting this running? I don't know if you followed what Sergio was saying and what I was putting in to these, this email.
No, I'm fine. I keep my own working.
Okay, so you get this output.csv file?
Yes, I am seeing that. I am putting your to that one.
Okay, perfect. How about you, Jay? Hey, Jay? I think his mic is turned off. He hasn't answered when I've talked a couple other times. I'll give him a phone call. Okay, I'm going to turn off this session here. So I'll